one of the most addicting things other than social media and you know internet TikTok videos and stuff is one of the most addicting things is technology itself. The way I've seen it is that technology and like computers, cell phones, smartphones, iPods, you know, they've always been they've evolved into something more than just tools. And that's what's really disappointing, I think, in my opinion, because they're so addicting now. They are so addicting. Um, you're gonna notice wherever you live, whatever country, whatever demographic you're in, um, especially in the West, but Western countries, Western Hemisphere. You look around, you go outside, right, or you go somewhere to a restaurant. Everyone's on their phones while they're eating, or everybody's walking with their head like on the screen, pretty much. Even if you're at home with your friends or your family, you notice that their phones are right there in their pocket, right within 3 feet of their body at all times, even on their body in their pocket, you know, or they're just somewhere within reach, like half a second's reach. And the reason for this is because technology, it's addicting. These devices are addicting. Like when they were first created, okay, I think that the developers who developed these electronics, these digital and digital electronics were made them for the purpose of keeping them as a tool. Uh, I don't know too much about these companies, these manufacturers, but if you know, I think the basic evolution, the basic creation and evolution of, let's just do the really common Apple products. All right, the basic evolution of the iPhone. Okay, for example, it was a breakthrough because first people needed something to listen to music while they run, right? Instead of these big clunky MP3 players and CD Walkmans, they call them. And then the iPod came out, so it's just you put the music on and put it in your pocket, right? And you get the music on the little iTunes store on the iPod, really tiny. But then the iPod Touch came out, okay? And I don't know too much about these devices, but I remember my grandfather had an iPod Touch second generation, and I thought this was back in 2006. Okay, I was 6 years old, and I thought that was the most coolest thing ever. And he used it as a tool. He used it to he had his flip phone cell phone, and then he had his iPod Touch. His flip phone cell phone was for calling, texting once in a while because he didn't text a lot, and calling. That's it. His iPod was for his email, keeping track of his contacts because they wouldn't fit in his cell phone, his little flip phone. And notes, he used notes a lot, and then Google Maps. Because the iPod Touch had internet Safari browser, so he would use that for Google Maps when he had Wi-Fi. When he would pull over, they would commute or they would drive up to visit us, and they would pull over in coffee shops, and he would get his map together and then hop in the car, and then the next rest stop where there was Wi-Fi, he and my grandma would get on the iPod and route the next couple hours of driving, and that's what he used it for. He used it for a tool. And I know back then the only thing that was out was like Facebook, or what it was called back then. I think it was Facebook. So there wasn't social media, there wasn't all these streaming services. Netflix was go get the disc, from the mailbox. So there wasn't Netflix or anything. YouTube was very, very limited. There wasn't a lot of YouTube stuff. So everything was just a lot simpler. And so he used it. He used it specifically as a tool. And look what it has become today. I mean, I don't know what's really going on anymore, but I'd say for the past like 5 years, I've been seeing like little kids with iPads, like carrying them around. I've seen kids on cell phones, you know, that are bigger than their head. Are bigger than their head. Like cell phones are bigger than the toddler's head, for crying out loud. And it's like everyone has to be immersed on the internet now, on the screen. And I don't think there's anything wrong with using the internet as a like a tool, like to learn something, to Google something, to use directions to get somewhere, or to look for how to DIY videos, or watch your favorite content creators on YouTube, for example, because YouTube has been around forever. Oh, I forgot about that. He had YouTube, the old school little brown. My grandfather had the brown YouTube app on his iPod, the old school one. I forgot about that. He used YouTube for DIY stuff. Those were the days. Those were the days. And but now it's so different now, and it's everything's so addicting. You know, when I get around people, it's funny because I don't even have to look up anymore. Well, I can intuitively sense when people are around me, but if I'm in public or I'm, sitting at a coffee shop or something, I'll know if someone's behind me because I'll hear the beep, and then them scrolling through TikTok watching something, and then the next beep. I'll hear all that stuff going on, and I'm thinking to myself, an hour goes by, or an hour and a half, 2 hours go by, and I'm not actively keeping track or listening to these people, but it's like I kind of shock. I fall into a state of shock because I realize that wow, like they've been doing that for like 2 hours now, and they've been sitting in the same spot with their coffee. They're not even reading anything, or they're not studying or doing anything, or surfing the internet for, I don't know, whatever people do on the internet besides doing addictive behaviors, I guess. And it's just surprising, and to people in my family that do that as well, when they come over to visit, or when I go over and visit, spend time with them, it's like every 20 minutes, I'll see or hear in the vicinity, I'll hear the phone going beep, watching TikTok, scrolling, or I'll walk into the room, or they'll walk into the room, and I'll see, like, I don't look at their screen, but I'll see like the Instagram thing up on like the Instagram circles at the top. For those of you who have Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. And so like they're on their social media, I guess, doing that, and then Snapchat's another one. I heard the bloop bloop bloop, and it'll be going off. And to those who have a large social circle, or a really healthy social life, props to you. I'm happy for you. That's good, right? That's healthy. I think it's very healthy. But the thing is that I think that, do you think that people would have these friends if they didn't have social media? In other words, do you think that these friends would still be around? Do you think they would have met these people if they didn't have Snapchat on their phone, Instagram on their phone, maybe TikTok, because people can friend each other, I think, on TikTok, or message or something. And so that kind of puts that into perspective for me, that like, wow, if the answer is no, then that means that everything is curated by the internet. Everything is curated by social media now. Like, I'm at a park, everybody walking around, their brain is like online right now, even though their phones, so a lot of people have their phones in their hand, but there's some people, walking out here, there's like a family right there, and they're not on their phones. But the thing is that I know that the second they get in their vehicle, their phone is going to come out and they're going to be on probably TikTok or probably Instagram. It's like social media is now the internet, all that stuff is now the baseline for people now. It's like they get home, they sit down and okay, let's relax and watch this TikTok or Instagram, or okay, let's watch my Snapchat. Snapchat has it too. It's like you can watch people's stories now on Snapchat or something. Okay, from what I understand. And or people get in their car after exercising or after work. Baseline, they pull out the phone and go on the social media. It's like, guys, what are we doing? I'm just thinking to myself, like, what are we doing? And I'm not trying to bash anybody, but I've talked about this. I just think that everything is so fake now, and like, 15, 20 years ago, even sooner than that, maybe like 10 years ago, nobody was this hooked on the internet as they are now. So that's why I say people aren't people anymore. That's why I say people are robots. They're NPCs. They're matrix plugged in people. They're normal people. They're not even people, I think, but they're still flesh and blood and skin. So obviously there's the human species. But it's as if they're the brain, the collective out here, just the normal people, the matrix plugged in people here. Their brains aren't even like humanly natural anymore. Everything is formed by TikTok. Everything is formed by Instagram and whatever social media they dump themselves on. Their brains are, like I said, their brains are craving that baseline, that drug, I guess, of being back on their cell phone or their iPad or whatever device they have that gets them on these internet platforms. And they're always worrying about what people think of them. They're worrying about the next trend, right? Social media, everything gets around a lot, and all these little, like, I don't know what you call them, but all these little social quirks and, like, unwritten rules people have now, that all came from the internet. That didn't come from people. Maybe, like, a long time ago, one person made something up or said something, and now the whole public is hooked on it because of social media. It's not natural. That's why I keep saying people are followers. They're not leaders anymore. You look around and men, I'm not trying to bash men, but it's upsetting because men aren't really leading anymore. Women are now like running the show pretty much, and women can do anything they want, I know, and men, their job is to guide and direct women to a certain direction, and if the woman doesn't listen, men are supposed to walk away. But what you're getting is men who don't even have a direction for themselves. And those men are, a lot of full-grown guys are on this. Oh, this is what I have. Something happened this morning. I was putting gas in my car, and as I was starting my engine, I guess a guy came out of the gas station. He looked like he was he was like a contractor, because he had one of those vans, right? Right before he gets in his van, he's holding, I guess, his the stuff he bought. And right before he gets in his vehicle, his company car or whatever, he pulls out his phone from his pocket, takes a picture of his vehicle and like the food. He's like holding up the stuff he bought in front of the car, his car, takes a picture of like, his arm, his hand holding the stuff in the car door or something, like just like a selfie, but not really a selfie. Just takes a picture. And then he like bent down and typed a few, like was typing or texting or something, puts the phone in his pocket and gets in his car and drives off. And I didn't see what he was doing, obviously. I wasn't like staring at the guy, but subconsciously, like just the way he did it, like walking up, holding his food up or whatever, pulling out his phone, snap, making sure like he did it as the vehicle was like the background. I just knew, okay, yeah, he's posting something on something. he's posting that image or picture of what he did or what he's buying. He posted that on something. And this guy, he was in his 40s. I'm not kidding. He was in his 40s. He looked like he was in his 40s, maybe late 30s. Maybe 38, 39, 40, 44, 43. Full grown guy, full beard. And it's just like, there's nothing inherently wrong with what he was doing, I guess. There's nothing, like, he wasn't breaking a law or anything, but it got me thinking, like, who wants to see that you're going to work? Everybody has a job. Everybody plugged into the Matrix goes to work. Everybody, all his friends know, his family knows, or his girlfriend or his wife know that you're working. Like, why do you have to post it? Again, it's none of my business, but I was like scratching my head, like, I don't understand people. I don't understand people. Like, why do people do that? It's like, I just don't understand. He was looking for something, maybe validation, approval, attention. Maybe he was updating somebody on his status, going to work, first meal of the day or something. But, like, who cares? Who cares, man? People open it up, and what are they going to think? Oh, wow, you went to 7-Eleven. Oh, wow, another day, another dollar. Whoa. Nobody cares. And a lot of people don't know that nobody cares. A lot of people don't know that everybody is just going through the motions because they're depleted Matrix people, with all due respect. And as I wrap up this video, this message is, it's just very interesting. It's kind of disappointing for me personally, though, how everybody is just locked onto that phone, locked onto that iPad, or locked onto that screen. A majority of people are locked onto their phones or their iPads because they're more portable than a laptop. Most people use their laptops for work and school and, ordering things and what have you, ordering parts, or, I don't know what people shop for, but you get the point. Computers are still mainly used as a tool, but it's sad to see technology amongst these normal people. Normal people have just made technology something that I don't think it's supposed to be, and it's ruining a lot of people. It's ruining a lot of brains. I think somebody said once that, like, a lot of depression is caused by people who are on social media a lot. They didn't say what kind of social media, but I think it's like a clinical study or something, clinical analysis that said that, a lot of people were depressed, especially during 5 years ago, and social media was like the number one culprit or something. And but yeah, that's the message. Technology isn't being used as a tool anymore, and it's now being used as a distraction and an addictive drug. And I don't know when it's going to get better, because again, I'm not a technology nerd. I'm not a technology aficionado, or whatever you would call it. I'm not a technology buff, but as the years go by, right, things get more and more technologically advanced. And so I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know. It's probably going to get worse, but I don't want to be cynical or pessimistic. That's the word. But anyways, guys, if you're watching this video and you're still here, reaching the end of my video, there's a good chance that you're one of those people, I think, that, yeah, maybe you have social media, but it's possible you're not addicted to it, or you were addicted to it once in your life, but you broke free from that. But just know that in general, off the cuff, technology is so addicting, and it's not the device, the phone or the iPad or the tablet itself. It's more of what people are doing on these devices. And so I just hope one day that there's a change, and maybe people will understand that,